This gun lights your firemen, the pilot lights out.
This football team is coming into our place. We're standing in our way.
This is a game of the heart. Focus and finish.
It looks like Ronnie Hillman may have played himself out of a starting job after fumbling 3 times this preseason as Montee Ball was moved to the first team offense in Monday's practice. We already knew that Ball had a nose for the goal line, but this opens up the opportunity for the rookie to pile up some fantasy points in the middle of the field as well. Expect Ball to get about 15 to 20 touches against the Ravens in Week 1. Raiders coach Dennis Allen stated that Darren McFadden will absolutely be ready for Week 1 against the Colts. But do not, I repeat, do not reach for McFadden. If you want to take him with a late round pick as a flyer, fine. But the Raiders have perhaps the worst offensive line in recent memory, not to mention it's only a matter of time before he breaks down. We all understand this upside here, but the risk-reward is simply not worth a high pick with McFadden. Santonio Holmes, who was taken off the PUP list on Friday, practiced for the first time in 10 months on Monday. At this point, his status for Week 1 is completely up in the air. However, even if he's healthy, the Jets don't have a quarterback to get him the ball at the moment. Same thing as McFadden here. If you want to take him as a flyer in later rounds, that's fine, but reaching for him risks you getting off to a ridiculously slow start. Speaking of all or nothing picks, Kenny Britt certainly has wide receiver 1 talent, but Coach Mike Munchak said that the Titans will probably have to give Britt a day off nearly every week this season because of his knee. Britt tore his right ACL in 2011. He wasn't nearly the same player last season. He's been battling swelling in the surgically repaired knee all summer. Britt's name is expected to be seen frequently on injury reports this season, and that's the primary reason his ADP is so low. So if you take him before the 8th or 9th round, you're certifiably nuts. The Cardinals are calling Rashard Mendenhall day-to-day with his minor right knee sprain and sound optimistic about him starting Week 1 against the Rams. Now, Mendenhall won't play in the preseason finale. Ryan Williams will get the bulk of the work there. But Mendenhall's ADP has been holding in the middle of round 6, which to me is a wasted pick and just way too high. Jonathan Stewart will receive a second opinion on his ailing ankles from Dr. Robert Anderson today, as it's believed to be Stewart's right ankle that's giving him the most trouble. Now, Stewart isn't likely to play in Week 1, and I wouldn't be surprised to find him on the PUP list as we get closer to kickoff. I've seen people taking him as high as round 7, and if you're taking him there, you're off your rocker. The Texans will be forced to use a timeshare approach at the tailback position because of Arian Foster's health issues. He has the most touches in the league the past 3 years, and that ain't happening this year. Now, personally, I don't see how you can justify taking Foster in the first few rounds at this point. And I would even be taking Ben Tate before him. Just think Larry Johnson, folks. 1 year you can be the best running back in the league, and the next year, you're struggling to find a roster spot. It's perhaps the most replaceable position in the game, and these guys fade fast. The risk-reward just isn't in favor of taking Arian Foster early on this year. The Cardinals have revealed that tight end Rob Housler has a high ankle sprain, which pretty much places him out of Week 1, depending on the severity, likely longer than that. I know many were looking at him as a sleeper candidate, but for now, I suggest you just let him sleep. And the rumblings out of Miami is that Daniel Thomas being a serious threat to Lamar Miller's playing time is that the whole episode of sharing touches has just been a ruse intended to be a motivational tool for Miller. Now, everything you read suggests that Miller is a big-time breakout candidate in 2013. But I didn't write any of those things, and I'm not sold. With just 9 days to the NFL season starts, be sure to tune in to the Roto Experts Fantasy Football News, Notes, and Analysis segment every weekday. I'll be here to keep you current and ahead of the competition, and on weekends, come back for This Week in Fantasy Football as I team up with the King, Scott Engel, covering the week that was and the week that will be, answering your viewer questions. For Roto Experts, I'm Mike Cardano. See you tomorrow.